Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It's Monday. Let's get to work tonight. Let's get started, everyone. Today, on today's episode, today's lesson, today's stream, we're going to be talking about my failures in the online course world. So I've now produced 2 online courses. Maybe you can call it 2.5. Depends on what you consider an online course. But a traditional online course, I've made 2 of them over the last 2 years. I've tried to do I do it how some authors do a book, try to do at least 1 a year. But let's talk about failure. So I'm kind of just kidding when I say, when it comes to failures. And no, it's not clickbait. Yes, I feel like how I look at failure, I don't think most people or normal people look at failure the same way. So let's talk about failure first and how we kind of deal with it. This is going to be weird. Talking about failure. Now, there is a weird kind of balance of being too open with failure. And so you're I'm trying to find that balance, because people that just talk about failure in general, or they're on, they want to share, they want to be open on social media and transparent and show you who they are. You can be very open and just say horrible things that happen to you in life. And then it doesn't really get you anywhere. So if you say, for me, I could talk about how my parents got divorced when I was age 13. Okay, that's a dark point in my life, but me telling you that without any kind of positive or any kind of, well, this is what I overcame, it just kind of kills the mood, and it doesn't really add to the conversation. So what we want to do is we want to look at the failure and then talk about let's talk about a positive. So I was able to overcome this. And this is how I want to frame this conversation with, and the next time you're trying to open up on the internet or in your social circle, try to always tie in a positive. This was my dark moment. It's, it's a very the hill valley hero's journey. I fell into this dark pit. I was sad and lonely, and then I overcame it and I felt better. That's the context I want you to think about. And that's how I think about failure. It's, we want to be positive and we want to be productive with this. Let's, I'm not talking about failure just to say I failed, I suck, feel sorry for me. It's, no, I want you guys to learn from my mistake. And that's the goal with this. My goal is to walk through these last 2 online courses that I've done, share with you what went right and what went wrong. And hopefully, and this is what I'm really trying to lean in on, that you guys are going to get some, maybe just a few insights about your own business venture, because the way I look at an online course, it is, you can apply all these lessons to any kind of other venture that you're looking to go into. You want to start a company, you want to start a business, you want to start an app, start a blog, a YouTube channel, all the things we're about to talk about here have very core fundamental, a lot of overlapping lessons. So if you're watching this, you're well, I've never made an online course, I don't plan to make an online course, Jordan. Keep a little bit of an open mind on this kind of stuff, because the lessons here, I think you can apply to a lot of different things in your business. So let's talk about what went right. I think let's start off on a positive note. So what went right? Produced 2 in-depth courses. These were I took down, do I have these stats here? Yeah, I wrote down some of these stats. We'll talk about these in a minute, about how in-depth some of these courses were. But that was what I felt was a really positive aspect to this. And we got a lot to move, so let's keep it going, Jordan. Number 2, became familiar with the course platforms. I learned about what platforms to use, what not to use, and the pros and cons of each platform. Going your own route, using your own technology, kind of wall platform, but already using things like Skillshare and those kind of other platforms, Coursera, whatever. There's tons of out there, but when you're forced to do this, you have to learn where you want to put your content. Number 3, learn about social proof. That was great. We'll get into that. I can't wait to talk about that. And I recouped my costs. So that was, I look at that as a positive. All the money that I put into this, the time, came out on top. This is not a financial failure. This was not financially a loss, negative profit. This was actually all the Facebook ads, the paying for things like an ebook, paying the time I put into actually producing the content, editing the content, the site itself, the platform, the marketing, all that we're covered. So we're good. That was good. So what went wrong, Jordan? Let's talk about what went wrong. Number one, I focused too much on production. Being a video kid and a filmmaker, I was, I fell into that trap that I thought I had to like make everything like look like masterclass.com, and we'll talk about that. My launch was shaky, and when I say that, I just mean like I thought I planned it out, but then there was the first course I did, I thought it planned out pretty well, but then the second course was a little haphazard. Tried to do it all myself, and that, okay. And then number 4, made a fatal assumption, and we'll talk about that assumption in a little bit. Let's just kind of talk about it in general, give you some kind of brief notes, some tasting notes on this. And then first, let's talk about how to start a video production company. Why I made that course. I wanted to make an online course, and this is about 2 years ago. I had compiled up quite a bit of video production business tutorial videos, I would call it. I was kind of ranking number 1, ranking number 2 in that space. Like if you were to YouTube search how to start a video production company, I was typically I think my videos were like number 1, number 3, and number 4. So I was like in the top 5 of that search result. So I was getting a lot of traffic. My most popular video was a video, you probably have seen this. That was probably the first video that you saw of me, or this was like the in for you when it came to my world, was a video production company, the first 100 days. And the weird part is you never know what video is going to work. Clearly me, 23, 22, in my first ever apartment after college, with a terrible haircut. And I just made this video. I talked about what I think I talked about. I was at the time running a video production company. I was 2 years into it. I was like, cool, I think I have a good understanding of this. Let me explain this. And talked about it. Not a lot of production value, not much B-roll, just me talking to the camera about how to start a video production company. Got 113,000 views, which is quite a bit from my channel. And I was like, okay, double down on things that are working. If you're trying to make content, if you're thinking about what YouTube video should I make, you should just start to look up search terms, or what are people searching for, or what questions do people have. And I thinking about this course, I was like, I have this video here. Like, this is the question that people are answering, and I feel very capable of answering this question. I need to make an online course about this. There needs to be another step to this. This is just the first step in the funnel, because this was driving a lot of like Amazon affiliates, and it's like, cool, getting a couple AdSense from Google as well. But I was like, there needs to, we need another, for people that really want to participate in this, let's give them something to pay for. Let's give them a course. So that was the genesis of this, and made it very, I think I put a couple, I thought I did a pretty good job at putting production into this, making a very in-depth lesson. I think there were 40-some lessons is what Thinkific says I have, but I think it's really like a 28-lesson plan. It was a lot. I was like, I'm going to go all out from start to beginning. This is what I would do in the first 100 days of starting a video production company. And yeah, so that was that. So that was the first one. And then the second one, my second course, which we'll talk about. This was a weird one for me. And this has more failures than the first one. This was the personal branding, how to stand out and build influence. Anyway, yeah, so this is the course. And I was like, cool. Let me just, and again, at the time, felt very capable. I was understanding marketing. I was working with a lot of personal brands, consulting with personal brands. I was like, I think I understand this, and I'm doing this myself. So let me just teach people how to do this. Personal branding, made the titles catchy, act like you have 10 million followers, the Gary V model, gear, philosophy, take you through like mindset at the very top here, content, then all the way down to, the hardcore stuff like how to sustain yourself, revenue, marketing, philosophy, and then end with, just an outro, things like that. So the first one is talking about producing content. That is, of course, you have to do that when it comes to building an online course. If you don't film it, if you don't write it, if you don't shoot it or edit it, then you don't really have anything. And I thought, And me, so focused on video production, so focused on the production process and loving the production process and editing and all that stuff, I thought if I just have a really good looking video, then I'm gonna really like kill it. So I was like, and not only is it gonna look good, but it's gonna be in depth. Like I was trying to deliver as much value, as much content as possible. And here's the kind of, so in total between these two courses, it's 37 lessons. Each lesson was about 8 to 12 minutes. And if you add all that up and you average, it's roughly 5 to 6 hours of video content, which was a lot to write. It took me, I think most videos I don't really sit that far in the pre-production phase, but for this course, both these courses, I was sitting on this at a minimum of 90 days, I want to say. Yeah, just like really trying to hash out every single lesson. Wrote everything out. And I never do that. I never script anything. I never use a teleprompter. And I felt like for this, there was so much content to deliver that I was going to miss something and I couldn't just freeball it. I had to write down everything. Okay, what lessons go in, what lessons go out, and in what order. I wanted to just produce this produce a highly produced, well thought out, in-depth video lesson that you would say you were just blown away if you were going to take it. That was kind of but it got to be like and this is what I want you to think about. There was a balance I was struggling with between the time I was putting in and the effort. And I shouldn't say time versus effort. It was more that I was trying too hard to make this such a highly produced video that I think it was cutting into me actually finishing this or me moving on to another course. Like maybe at this point I could have 3 courses under my belt had I not spent so much time on these online courses trying to make them look good, make each lesson plan perfect. Like I was looking at this like a teacher, like a professor, and saying like, what would my students want to know about this? What do they need to know? What do they not need to know? In what order do they need to know this? If they take this lesson first, how is it going to affect them on the next lesson? And I wanted everything to flow. Like I overthought everything, and I was coming from a place of like that. I was coming from a place where I was like, I got to deliver value. I got to deliver something that they're going to be excited about. It's got to be hard hitting, full of content that if they're going to pay, they've been watching my videos for free, but if they're going to pay $25, they're going to pay $50 for this. I got to deliver 50 times the value, or that's how I looked at it. So there was a balance issue, and like I said, I wanted to deliver on value. So next, let's talk about a shaky launch. I had my first launch with the video production course was all right. I think it was all right, but the second one, it was right as I lost my job, and I was kind of in the middle of the post-production of this course, and as I lost my job, because this was going to be like, okay, a little bit of side income while I still had my job, lost my job, and I was like, cool, I got to launch this as soon as possible, and I launched it way too fast, and it was a very shaky launch, and I just can't, I was coming from a place of desperation. I was like, I got to get something out. This is like, maybe this is a way I can get some cash flow going, and it was shaky, but hold this in your mind too. Let's be a walking contradiction. Every launch should be shaky. And maybe this goes up to the lesson about time versus effort, but every launch should be shaky. Because this little thought I want you to hold in your head is that you shouldn't be so precious about the work, and that you just need to get it out there. That it's never going to be perfect. We talked about this 2 weeks ago with perfectionism and cynicism, that you're never going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. So you just have to launch it and then kind of like build the plane as you're flying it. You should not say like, it's done. I'm done. Lesson 25 is now complete. Export. And now let's build a 90-day marketing campaign. And once we have the 90-day marketing campaign built, then we'll start to launch it and I'll tell everybody about it. Yes and no, because then you're going to get too bogged down in the details and say, I have to get all this done. There's so many items to do before I can launch it. Just launch it, get it out there, get some traction under it, get people using it. And then at the same time, start to market it better and better, find what works, find new hooks, find new ways to attract new customers. Every launch should be shaky. So let's take some lessons from Kickstarter, and rather I should say Indiegogo in this, because I've never used Kickstarter. I've consulted people on how to use Kickstarter, but the only platform that I've used successfully and once, I'm 1-0 on raising a campaign, and it was this one. Let me switch over to it. So I don't even need to show you. What am I doing? This one right here. So this was I did an Indiegogo campaign. This is my one and only successful campaign, and we did a short film right out of college. It's called The Sunshine Girl, and as you can see, we hit our goal. I think our goal back in the day was 4,000, and we were able to get over to 4,500. And then as we got this, we were able to get some private money on the side of this. That was going to help us kind of boost this campaign. And what I learned from this, the biggest lessons I learned from this was that you need to tell everybody weeks in advance that we built trailer videos. We had 4 weeks out campaigns. We had a whole marketing plan, and if week 0 was the launch of the campaign, then you needed to go back -4 weeks, -6 weeks if you could, to really start to hype it up. So we have -6 weeks out to like the pre-launch week 1, and we would just build videos, we'd make content, we'd tell everybody about it. Pre-launch week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, pre-launch it, and then launch week. You're now 6 weeks into your marketing campaign where you're telling people about this. So it shouldn't come as a surprise. And that's the biggest mistake that people make with Kickstarter campaigns and Indiegogo campaigns, and probably product launches as well, is that they do not hype it up enough. Like, it should be a broken record to you. You should be so freaking tired of talking about it by the time it launches. And by the time it launches, everybody has heard about it, and their grandma, and then they'll know about it. And it's not this like, you now have some momentum going into launch week. And that was especially on Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns, where you have 30 days to run a campaign. And Indiegogo, and if you want to get featured in Indiegogo and you got to start to hack it like that, you would want to get some momentum in the first 2 or 3 days of your launch as soon as possible. You wanted a big spike, get at least $1,000 in the first day, $1,000 in the first 2 days. And that was and you told everyone, I know this campaign is coming up. You have 30 days to contribute to this, but on day 1, the day we launch, I would really like if you were to contribute $20, $50, $10, $5, whatever. But we need a lot of money on day 1 to get that momentum, and Indiegogo would pump you up. So so that's the kind of approach you needed to take with your online course. And I did not take that approach. I would just, for the filmmaking or the video production one, I kind of hyped it up. I answered some questions. But when it came to the personal branding one, I launched it and then started my marketing campaign, and I just launched it a little too fast. But you're able to recover from that. You're able to kind of keep building assets. Maybe as the campaign launches, or you go further into your launch week 1, week 2, week 3, you should keep making content. When I say you should be tired of your content on day 1, yes, you should, but then keep going another 6 to 10 weeks to keep up the momentum, because you want to get, now that the campaign's actually launched, you want customers, you want people in the door to start using the product. This is the Perfect Wedding Package. I want you to go to perfectweddingpackage.com. If you are struggling as a wedding photographer, as a wedding videographer, to get your prices down, to get your prices just right, this little template right here, this guide, this course, this video lesson plan is going to walk you through every single thing that you need to do to build the perfect wedding package. And I'm not talking about the cute little Pinterest wedding packages that look nice and have the flower tassels on the corners of the page. I'm talking about something that's actually going to get your clients excited to pay for it. We go through how to craft your options, how to craft the price at the bottom of the page. And I'll give you a little bit of secret in here. I am very anti-lengthy proposal bios. Tell me about your dog. Tell me about the time. I'm very much let's do a 1-page proposal. Let's get it out there, and let's make this as make it as little confusion as possible for your customer, because if your bride and groom are sitting across the table looking at this price proposal and it is like a financial proposal, or it's just too much going on, it's distracting, if they're confused, they're going to say no. So what I wanted to do is give you a simple, effective way to have a very nice contextual conversation with your clients that shows you, this is how much I'm worth, this is the high value that you're going to get when you hire me. And I'm able to distill it all down into this simple piece of paper where they go, oh, this makes perfect sense. I'm ready to buy with you. And you know what? Let's go with the most expensive option. So go to theperfectweddingpackage.com, check out the offer, check out what I got going on. You can get the full course for $97. You can get the template, the digital version template only for $27. And I have a little bonus feature at the very bottom of the page of theperfectweddingpackage.com. So check it out. Fighting the fight alone. This is what I've struggled with as an entrepreneur throughout my business. And it really was only until this year that I realized that I cannot do this alone. And I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about my peers, my colleagues, people above me. I don't know what you call those people. They're not your peers. I don't know, like your contemporaries, like you're the thought leaders in your industry. I need everybody to help me. And this is what I struggle with so much. I thought I could market all my online courses myself. It was my product. It's me. It's featuring me. It's got my big dumb face in the middle of it. So I figured like no one else is going to help me, or like how can I get them to? I'm selling me. I'm selling my product. No one else who is in the same industry as me, is another video production, is another filmmaker, is going to actually want to advertise or promote or work with me or endorse me like that. So that was my like closed-minded, cynical thinking. And I was like, well, I just do it. I've done everything else myself. I'll just do this myself. And this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I made. I was producing all the content. I made all the YouTube videos. I made all the hype videos. I was running all the Facebook ads. I was doing all the marketing, social media, everything, newsletter campaigns, podcasts. I was running all the campaigns, and not just Facebook ads. I tried LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads, Google ads. I was just like, I don't know what the hell I was doing at one point. Like for the personal branding course, I was running all 4 platform ads at the same time. And it's just like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing with LinkedIn ads. What are you doing, Jordan? You think like that people, just because they like personal branding and they're on LinkedIn, that they want to get better at personal branding, that they're going to see your ad and you're not even spending enough money here. And this was the mistake in my marketing. When it comes from the seller, it's marketing. When it comes from the buyer, it's social proof. And this is what I didn't quite understand. And of course, I know what reviews are. Of course, I understand testimonials. But I was like, okay, I don't need that, or how am I going to get that, Jordan? Like, or, thinking to myself, like, if I don't have any customers, how can I get customer reviews? Or how can I get testimonials of this product that was launched today? How can people endorse this if they haven't even seen it, haven't even used it? And it comes in a different flavor. So when it's marketing, when even like this is content marketing, what you're watching right now, this stream, this video, listening to this podcast, this is marketing. It's not paid marketing, it's free marketing. It's content marketing. It's all marketing because it's coming from me and I was directing you to go do something or tell you about my product or service. When it comes from other people talking about me, it's social proof, it's validation, it's credibility, it's ethos, whatever you want to call it in your little world. And these are things like testimonials, which is, I call testimonials aren't so much, what's the difference between like a testimonial and a review? A testimonial, I would say, is a review about a person, and reviews in the traditional sense are the review about the product or the course or the offer itself. So a testimonial is like, okay, Jordan was very great to work with. He had really effective advice that changed my business overnight. That's I would say is a testimonial. And a review is like, the course is great, very informative, loved it, would recommend it to a friend. That's a review. Affiliates, in a way, is kind of social proof. It's there has to be some transparency between you, the seller, and the affiliate marketer, the person who is the affiliate, and their customers. You don't want to say like, you don't want to pretend like you're just doing this all for free. I am being paid to say this. This is a paid sponsor from Jordan. Jordan, you should try Jordan's course. That's, but at the same time, it's still kind of social proof. It's a different person saying something about a company, about a service, about a product. Other people's channels. And I should have put a little sub bullet here. Should be other people's channels. And what I say for this is kind of the, some people call this list hacking. You're finding other people who have audiences, who have already built up audience. They're an Instagram influencer. They have a big YouTube channel. They have a big podcast. And you go on there yourself and talk about your product, talk about your life, talk about your story. You hear this all the time. I mean, it's half the Joe Rogan guests that you see, they're trying to, they do it in a really tasteful way, but they're coming, or most people that you see, even I was watching Saturday Night Live yesterday, and those people, those celebrities aren't there randomly. They're there to sell the movie. They're there to sell a product, to sell something, sell a book that's coming out. So I should have approached that. Or this never occurred to me. Get on other people's podcasts, Jordan. Get on other people's shows. Get other people to talk about your work and you, and then their audience will be driven to your site. So you're taking someone, or even things like newsletters. Hey, can I be on your newsletter? I have this new product. I have this new online course. I think your audience will really benefit from this. Can you write me up a newsletter? Or how do I get onto your newsletter? Or can I buy my way onto your newsletter? And they'll say, yeah, sure, you can buy a slot. We can do a whole issue for you. We can do a Friday issue on you. And they are driving their audience to your site. And it's social proof because the person who owns the newsletter, who owns that list, is validating you, giving you that credibility. And they're endorsing, in a way, they're endorsing you by association, directly, but just even things like being on someone else's show. The people on my show, the guests I have on my show, I would endorse them if they came to me with a product. If they came, and I always do this with every podcast guest. I say, in the behind the scenes before we get started and actually start recording, I say, you tell me what you want to promote. You tell me what websites you want me to send people to. And at the very end, I say, please promote whatever you got going on. Tell us about where we can go to find your work. And then in the show notes, I'll say, what link do you want me to put? Do you want me to send them directly to your website, to a new product, to a course that you got? And I'm validating that person. I'm saying this person is great. I would associate with this person. Here's the episode. Here's the link. Here's their product. So that's social proof. And that is, I'm talking a lot about this, and maybe this will probably be clipped into a whole little episode here, but social proof, when it comes from, again, let me just kind of take a screenshot of this. When it comes from the seller, it's marketing. When it comes from the buyer, it's social proof. Okay, my fatal assumption, selling a product you think they need, not what they want to buy. The success from the video production course, I thought was pretty good. It was a question that people were asking. It was a clear, there's always going to be someone new that has that same question. There are always 18 and 19 and 20-year-old filmmakers coming up that want to start their own video production company. So as your students graduate and age up, there's always going to be a new crop of people asking that same question. There was okay, that's an evergreen question that I can do to make content. I can make this course from. Cool. With personal branding, at the time when I was developing it, I was talking with photographers, I was talking with other creatives, and the biggest thing that I kept hearing was, I don't have time for marketing, or marketing, when I'm running my own business, marketing is always the last thing on my list. And I was like, okay, so they need help with personal branding. They need help marketing themselves. And I was like, oh, okay, what I could do is, if they don't, or at this time don't want to pay for my consulting or my personal branding coaching, maybe it's just a little bit too high of an ask at this stage of the relationship, I'll create a smaller product on the ladder where they can just say, okay, all right, you can't afford my $1,000, $2,000 coaching. All right, why don't you just try this $97, $100, $50 online course? You watch this, and it's, you're not getting me directly, but here's something that is basically the same amount of information. It's not tailored to you, so it's not as special, but it's the core fundamentals of what you're going to get if you hire me. That's what I looked at. I was like, oh, okay. So I was making the assumption that this is what they have, this problem that they struggle with marketing themselves, and marketing is always last on their list. And so therefore, I will give them an online course. And the assumption is this the solution that they actually want? Because people don't want to buy what they need, people want to buy what they want. So that was my assumption. I was like, here's the good medicine you need. You need some online course, personal branding, marketing, and that may not have been the case. I was making the assumption that, like, for me, it was logical, but maybe that's not what people wanted. Maybe people wanted someone to just handhold them and actually take over their marketing for them, as opposed to learning how to do all the marketing themselves and get better at personal branding. Some people don't want to do that. They're just like, I don't have time or headspace for that kind of stuff. And that was my fatal assumption. So if you are creating an online course, you have to find a way to get some kind of feedback, whether that's directly asking a customer, or making a YouTube video like I made I made about the video production video, and I got tons of feedback, hundreds of comments saying, asking more questions. That was my feedback to say, like, okay, I'm onto something here. This is a good piece of content that I can make. You have to find some kind of way to get that validation. You cannot just make the assumption that this is what people want or this is what people are looking for, and therefore I'll make it, and therefore they will come, and I don't have to worry. And then I don't have to worry about marketing it because it's going to be such a killer product that answers this question that I think I'm providing a solution that people want. And it's like, it's a need, yes, and you're filling this need, but is this what people actually want? Let's redeem ourselves, Jordan. Let's save our asses. Let's round the corner on this lesson here. Let's redeem ourselves. So my positive outlook on this is that everything has evolved. The first course that I made was great, and I think the production value of the second course is even better, and the lessons were more well-rounded, more in-depth. I thought, and now that I'm looking at it, if I were to make an online course today, I would feel amazing about it, and I would feel really good about where I am and what I could do with it. And that I believe everything has evolved. How I would market it, how I would onboard people onto the online course, it's like, everything I see is just like, it's all a positive evolution. You're always getting better and better and better. So my biggest lesson is that you can't, or at least you shouldn't, do this alone. You need people, and that comes in the forms of, getting validation in terms of social proof, testimonials, reviews, customers, advocates for you, affiliates for you, getting the endorsement of people bigger than you, at the same level as you, and people below you. You want all of that kind of outside validation, because again, the lesson is that if it comes from you, it's marketing, but if it comes from someone else, it's a social proof where they go, oh, it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more impactful, because of course I'm biased and I'm going to tell you my course is great. But if somebody else told you the course is great and that you would be perfect for this, then you start to go, okay, yeah, maybe, all right, I'll give it a shot. That was my biggest lesson from this, is that I can't do it alone. You don't have to, Jordan, you don't have to market everything. You don't have to create all the videos. You don't have to, even for, with the personal branding course, I was going to write the ebook. I was going to take all my videos and transcribe them basically and write an 80-page ebook. And I said, you know what? I'll just get somebody to do this. I'll find someone who's really good at transcribing, really good at typing, send them the videos and say, can you transcribe this? Made it perfectly, grammatically checked everything. And then I just basically copy pasted it into a book, put it into book format, and I had an ebook from there. So it was like, that was another lesson too. Like, don't feel like you got to do it all, Jordan. Don't feel like you got to market it all, produce it all, create it all. And my most surprising lesson was that quality isn't the biggest selling point. I thought that I had to have a masterclass.com quality, high-end, perfectly lit, all this I shot in 4K. I was shooting give me the best quality possible. And it wasn't that important, or just at this level that I am, or I don't know what it was, or just that I thought that if I make it look cool and I make it exciting and do a cool trailer with it, then that's going to be the selling point. And it's not that. And that's what, and at the same time, the quality aspect too slowed me down. I could have been making a better online course. I could have been failing more or learning more lessons in marketing. And instead I was worried about making it perfect, making sure the lighting was good and the stage and the framing and the edit was good and the sounds were good. And I mean, I think I spent a whole day on just graphics. I mean, I know there were 20 graphics I had to create, but I was doing graphic slides and like making all this like super high end like moves and finding the right stock images and all that stuff. And it was just like, it got to be too much. It's just that like that quality, like people, okay, yes, people like this. I'm like, this is a nice course. This looks nice. It makes me feel better about the purchase, but I care about the content. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to talk about with online courses. Now I'm thinking about it, and we're hitting on this quality aspect. It kind of pissed me off, or I was mad at myself from this, and this is where I've learned from it, that, yeah, okay, quality, you don't have to have masterclass.com. And that's what I was aspiring for, and that was kind of my inspiration. I then took another online course from somebody else, paid about the same money that I was charging, and it was just them, and it wasn't even the bubble like this. It was just PowerPoint and a voiceover. And that made me so, I was mad, and then I was like, oh yeah. But it's like one of my favorite courses. And it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to have 4K, key light, hair light. You don't have to have all this stuff. It's just about the content. And then I looked at it as like, damn, I could make this like in a day. I can make this online course in a day, which if you give me just a PowerPoint and a voiceover. And I only saw the girl it was the girl that made it, and she was like, you only saw her at the beginning for the intro and at the very end. And she probably filmed those videos back to back in the same day, same hour, and the rest was narrated on a PowerPoint. So you don't have to have high-end quality videos. You don't have to have all this set technology, perfect microphone. Just make it sound decent and have good graphics. I don't know. Like, just make it okay. Just make it fine. Make the content itself good. The lesson plan's good. The whole thing itself good. And let me say this one last time before we sign off, folks, that the launches are always shaky. Even those launches that we had with the video production course, the personal branding course was especially shaky. Even the Kickstarter that I did, Indiegogo that I did, that was a success, that was still shaky too. And I want you to hold this in your mind that it should be shaky and be okay. I'm saying this almost as like overcompensate for this, like overcompensate this fact that it is going to be shaky, so that it's going to kill, and like you're going to have the fear of launching, or the fear of like, I'm nervous to get my online course out, or I'm nervous to start this new service. Just put it out there. Like, overcompensate. Like, just accept it. Live with the fact that it's going to be shaky and a little shoddy and not make sense at first, but you're going to get better. You're going to find better headlines. You're going to find better hooks to bring people in. You're going to find a better story. You're going to find a better way to package everything together and make it an even better online course. How do I look at this? Looking back on all of it, I don't consider anything a failure. Everything was a learning opportunity. This was all great. And one thing I thought about this too, even the fact, because I was like, all right, I'm giving up on this. This is going to be free. I'm just going to give it away. I don't care. It's still an asset. If you make an online course and you never launch it, or you launched it and it failed and it sucked and no one got no attention, it's still an asset now. It's still something that you could sell to somebody. It's still something that you could repackage into some bigger course. Or if you want to say like you were going to sell it at first, like I was selling one course at first and then I made it free. Now I'm using it as a way to just get people into my world. It's a free thing, here's a free online course. Thanks for your email. I'm going to put you on an email list and send you some other cool emails to tell you about other stuff that we got going on. It's an asset. So don't look at everything like a failure. It didn't succeed. I didn't make any money. I lost money on it. Just look at it positively, because it shouldn't be a failure. It should be like, this is a learning experience. We're evolving. We're getting better at this. Thanks for watching, everyone. So let's talk about the perfect wedding package. This, I guess you can consider an online course. It has morphed over the years now. What are we talking about with online courses? This is my new, I am selling this to you, and I want you guys to have this. I want you guys to check this out. Go to theperfectweddingpackage.com. What this is, and I got to get better at this myself. I got to find better talking points. I should have my like little sales script right here. As a photographer, do you feel like you are ready to raise your prices? You feel like you're good enough, but you just don't know how to raise your prices, or you're just struggling to, you think that, okay, I was started out at 1,000, and in a year I'll go to 1,500, and then in 2 years when I'm better or I have more experience, I'll be $2,000. And you just slowly like creep up like by $500 a year, and just hoping that that's gonna get you more money. There's no system to it. You're just kind of doing it randomly. And what I wanted to do, what I wanted to kind of distill for you guys and kind of package it up in a nice way, something consumable for you guys, that you could do this in an afternoon. You can go to theperfectweddingpackage.com, download the course, download the videos, watch the video lessons, get the template itself so you can actually see these. I mean, this is the exact template I use on most of my pricing jobs, where I send a one-page proposal. It looks like this, and I'll show you exactly in the video lessons how to craft each option, how to price properly so that each price is, you don't want to just put random prices on the page or just go like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, which I'm sure you're guilty of. And because I'm guilty of it. I used to do that. I would do like 500, 1,000, 1,500. And I would say options 1, 2, and 3. And instead, there's a better way to do this where you're having a better conversation where it's not just, yes, you're having a conversation about money and value, but it's really a broader conversation of like, this is what you get with all this. This is the budget. This is what you get with it. And this is how we can make this the best wedding possible, how you can get the most value out of this wedding package as you want. You let the brides and grooms choose whatever they're comfortable with. I'm teaching you all that in theperfectweddingpackage.com. And I should include this, and I always fail to talk about this. With this, it's not just a course, it's not just a PDF or whatever you want to say like that you download. You're going to get a pricing workshop with me personally. Not like a big workshop, like a one-on-one coaching workshop where you and I, you send me, once you've gone through the course, once you've downloaded the template and kind of tinkered it with it yourself, I'll then say, okay, let's have a look. Let's see what your prices look like right now, and let's kind of tweak it here in real time, you and me on a video call, and we'll go through your prices and get it all nailed down. So at the end of the call, you now have the perfect wedding package. You have, I've given you the A-OK. I've given you the stamp of approval that you can do this. And then on top of that, I'll also give you, I'll talk about this bonus as well. The second bonus is that you get to do, or I'm offering a photography audit of your website. And I'm like jumbling my words here. The photography website audit. You send me your link, I'll go through your whole website, because all we want in life is just a little bit of outside perspective. Like, don't you wish that somebody would tell you that you got something in your teeth, and maybe you go into a job interview and you had that thing in your teeth, and then you just, you failed the job interview because no one told you that you had some crap on your face or something in your teeth. That's basically what I'm trying to give you with the photography website audit, that I want to go through as an outside perspective. You give me no context. I'll go in, do a whole screen record like we're doing right now and say, okay, Jessica, I went through your website. Here are some things I would change. I was kind of confused right here, or this font is hard to read, or like, you think you can understand it, or you know how to navigate your site, but if you had your mom or your grandma go to this website, how do you think they would navigate it? So that's what I want you to, so I will offer that. If you buy the perfect wedding package, the full bundle, I'll offer the photography website audit. And then the third bonus is you're going to get access to me 24/7. And if I'm sleeping, I might not respond, but you're going to get access to me on Discord. You get to join the Discord community, where if you have a pricing question 2 months from now, 6 months from now, Jordan, I took your course back in December. It's now May. I still have some questions about this. And you ping me right there, and we work through it exactly there. And sometimes I kind of want to do it out in the open, on the open chat, so that everybody else that has gone through the perfect wedding package course can see it, and we can all learn from it, learn from each other. Like, I want it to be a safe, open environment. So that's the third bonus that you get. Go to theperfectweddingpackage.com. Check it out. And I always have to say this, and this is what I think is the biggest selling point. And you're like, okay, what's the catch, Jordan? This is basically $5,000 worth of stuff for $97. What's the catch? The catch is that, well, before I get to the catch, let me say this. I'm calling this a lose-win guarantee. That if you go through this, you go through the pricing workshop, you get on the Discord channel, you download the videos, download the template, and you put this out in front of your customers and it doesn't work, or you don't like it, or you said, you know what, I paid $97 for this, I want my money back. Refund on the spot. No questions asked. You keep the template. You give it to somebody that you think might benefit from it. And that's it. No questions asked. Like, the risk should be on me to provide something that's great. There should not be a risk to you that you're risking your money on something that you don't know, or it's just kind of sketchy, or I don't know, what is this actually going to work, Jordan? If you don't believe that it's going to work, then that might be a starting problem there. Like, you should come into this believing that this is all possible. But if it's just not worth it, or just you didn't think it was great, the risk is on me. Refund on the spot, no questions asked. theperfectweddingpackage.com. So what did I say was the catch? The catch is this: why is the price so low? Why is it $97, Jordan? Like, this could be, yes, it could be $5,000. This is basically $5,000 worth of stuff. 3 bonus items combined with the video lessons and the template. Like, that's all of that. That's a lot, Jordan. The catch is that, and why it's so low, and I feel like I should raise the prices on this. The catch is that I want as many people to take this as possible. I want to, I'm okay putting myself out there, putting my time into this. Like, I want as many people to get a hold of this template as possible, because I think it's a conversation that we're not having as creatives. This is the hill that I want to die on, is pricing, because I've talked to so many creatives, videographers, photographers, designers. We're all afraid to raise our rates. We're all afraid to ask for more money because we don't want to look like a jerk, or we don't want to look like we're just money hungry, or probably the biggest thing, we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of saying no. And so we don't even try. We don't even try to raise our rates, and we just we believe that artists should be struggling and should not be making money, and profit is evil. We have to break that. We have to get comfortable talking about pricing as creatives, and this is the mission I have. This is the mission I want you guys to join me on. So I want you guys to check out the Perfect Wedding Package. Go to that link up there, and make sure you put the at the beginning, theperfectweddingpackage.com. Check it out, folks. And let's end it here. My name is Jordan P. Anderson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.